For this, and we are not disappointed at all with the two teams that we see up on the top. The numbers might suggest MCES had a better performance in the pre-qualifiers, but Atn.attax has really been on fire, and I'll stick with my prediction that they are the favorites to take it home. Let's see how we start with Vale, who finished up as the clutch hitter last war, instead going to be the first to deliver an attack this time around.
Yeah, this looks already really promising. Luring out the clan castle nice and early, but he has not the luck of the timing with the clan castle. He needs a rage soon. He needs a rage soon. Or is he just saying this is enough? Like, this is incredible. He's saving the rage, keeping the nerfs, but now he's saying like, okay, I'm just going to rage. This is way too risky. But the queen for now is skipping that air defense. That could spell huge problems for him if that queen keeps skipping it. And this looks like it. He has to invest something to take that air defense down. And so far he is saying like, no, the air defense is keep staying. That's no problem whatsoever. But at some point he has to do something about that air defense, Woody.
And that poor unicorn, it's been the MVP in the past, but it's getting burnt up. Barely survives the encounter with the multi-target Inferno. And right you are, needed something to finish off that air defense. A couple of archers on the outer side will be enough to get that kill. Well, they also managed to grab a mortar on the top right side with a single archer. Really good read and kind of an unexpected misstep there by Tryhard to leave a defensive structure vulnerable to a one single unit takedown. Gonna be joined over there on the right side corner by that Barbarian King and the Mighty Yak, ready to charge straight into that outer compartment to grab another air defense and a multi-target Inferno, potentially. Defensive Royal Champion got that spear at the ready to hold it in, but hopped over the wall and made herself vulnerable to a takedown by the King.
Yeah, this charge so far looks insane, and so far not a single Black Man. So this tells me that this charge was not tested, and now the first Black Man, but this might be already too late. He has access now to both sweepers and great pathing into the tunnel. He has to freeze that scatter shot, but now there are coming a lot of red mines up. This now is getting kind of risky because the tunnel is somehow needing to be taken down by this Lalo push. Now the Royal Champ from the right side, but there's not too much space left with this. But the Warden is not following the loons. Instead, he's going for the single queen. And this might be the difference maker right there. The NATO trap now is rotating everything out of the poison. And this Royal Champ now needs to clutch things up. It's 30 seconds left. The queen at the bottom side still with her ability. But this is looking, I would say, interesting at this point, because the Royal Champ still with her ability, but 20 seconds and the queen won't be a big support. Royal Champ ability, and this means there is not much left, but it's only about time.
Queen path bound to the outside, going after a storage, and it's all up to the remaining cleanup troops along the top side. Vale is already starting to vogue, showing off his skills with the first hit. Atn.attax will keep up their momentum. They are now 6 for 6 on triples, and the unimaginable destruction from that Law Loon still has me blown away. Tornado Trap spun around those loons at the last moment there, but it was still enough left with the heroes to get the cleanup finished off. With just 6 seconds left, it wasn't a dominant showing, but it was enough to get the 3-star after all. Congrats to Vale on what could be the last war of today.
Yeah, you're right. If they keep going with what they're doing right now, it might be the last match of the day. But MCES did amazing so far as well. And Linnate is just keep running this vase. He used this already yesterday. He used this already versus Space Station. And everyone should get ready that people are start copying this base a ton, because this so far is looking like a pretty promising base. Now the Blizzard on top of that scatter shot, taking down the multi-inferno tower, taking down the scatter shot already. And now the enemy queen. This Blizzard is looking really good and taking down everything. And the additional thing as well, luring out the clan castle. And this is giving so much power to those heroes. And this, well, is looking like a really promising opener, Woody.
Great start from Arium. MCES has chosen to do the same as Atn.attax, sending in their clutch hitter from their last war as the first striker for this grand finals showing, not looking to give up any pace at all, trying to go toe-to-toe and keep those 3 stars high and on the board. We are already now starting with our heroes on the bottom right corner. They are now protected out in front with ice golems to insulate this blow. No healers, so it's just going to be a matter of how far they can go before the main attack gets underway. 2 lava hounds to push out for this Laloon strike. 4 free spells, big spell investment still in the queue for Irium to drop on the last side. Question in my mind right now is just how far can this queen get? She's almost guaranteed to get the town hall down, but will she be able to target onto a scatter shot? That's the big question for me.
Yeah, but the tunnel is the big target. Using the Royal Champion, using the visibility spell onto the Royal Champion to keep her alive. And now it's going for that scatter. That is incredible value right there. The scatter shot though needs to go down. The poison of that town hall is ticking and is slowing down that Royal Champion. But the Hound is tanking. That is no problem whatsoever. The haste spell is getting used to get everything inside. But now those red mines are coming up. And this might force an early warden ability. So far, no warden ability is used. Now the warden ability, as he's approaching the multi-inferno tower, the double wizard tower, more loons are coming in from the left side, pushing everything deeper inside the space. And there's not much left. I think Ariam did it. I think he did and completely crushed the space of Linnate, which so far has done so amazingly in this tournament. And this was just a crushing 3-star. Yet again, like, this overkill is insane from MCES, and they're showing, hey, your bases alternate is no problem whatsoever for us, and we'll just keep crushing them. Just come at us with those anti-2. We have learned on how to beat them, and I think MCES just had a huge boot camp over this last week and training against those anti-2, because this is not only countering alternate but as well space station. So far, Woody, it has paid off.
Glorious! Cue the hallelujah chorus, because Ariam has tossed out the holy hand grenade, a triple for MCES, and in less time than Atn.attax put up. Technically means that they're slightly in the lead now as we go into the next round of attacks. That Blizzard Lalo certainly not disappointing at all, and great props for that early strike using the Super Wizards and that invisibility spell. The Blizzard strike might be fearsome for the snow that it drops, but it's that lightning from their hands that really gives it the sting. Boom will be the next to move in, and he has learned a thing or two about that Blizzard hit. Happy to deliver another blow of his own as the Wizards get that pull of the CC. Lava Hound popping out and a few more troops alongside it. Doesn't finish off that expo on the bottom, and those builders, unfortunately for Boom, are going to be able to repair it back up.
Yeah, I think the important part yet again was luring out that clan castle. This is just so important. Having the queen inside the base, basically locked onto that Hound, is just so annoying to deal with, and he is doing an amazing job, the same as just Ariam. Now it's all about his hero push. Can he make sure that everything is going as planned? He's going to push into that scatter, into that expo compartment. That's exactly where the Warbreaker is going, and then the multi-inferno tower on the left side is most likely planned with that Royal Champion. No, the Royal Champion is going for the other scatter shot on the other side, so a complete different approach than what I thought. And this is looking really interesting, especially with the invisibility spell. Redirecting those skeletons to make sure they're going for the king and not for that Royal Champion is a huge move. And now the Royal Champion ability to take down the core. But this Inferno Tower has not gone down yet.
Unlike the last attack we saw, this has actually been a front-loaded spell usage by Boom. Ooh. Only has 4 small ones left to use for the rest of the cleanup, and has got a long way left to go. Really needs the Archqueen to finish off that air defense and the multi-target Inferno in the bottom compartment there, and only has a Unicorn Nut to help her out. Forces out that last ability. The final engagement with the Indie Royal Champion. Multi-target goes down, but she passed to the top. Can she get that air defense out? That could be the death knell for this hit, forcing out Boom to drop even more troops along the bottom side now. Air defense firing at the balloons instead of that Lava Hound. A bit of a dicey play here, but he does manage to get that last compartment finished off. Finally, he's done it. Cleanup should be easy now with just about a minute left.
Yeah, I think that was actually a really good thing for him that the air defense was not going down, because it dragged over the Hounds, triggered a ton of traps on their way, and now there are just so many lava pups. I don't think that this is going to be a time fail at this point. Really nicely done, and we are seeing back-to-back 3-stars with this Blizzard technique, which is just so powerful if you can make sure that you're luring out the clan castle nice and early. And Boom just showcased that to perfection. And now it's yet again another 3-star on the board, and we are seeing the difference right now. In between of the ranking of the teams, I would say a lot of teams struggled over the pre-qualifier, over the qualifier with like I would say a decent hit rate with like an average of like maybe 12 stars or something. But those two teams of MCES and Alternate showing their dominance in this qualifier right now. On average, incredible hit rates, and their attacks are getting faster and faster, it seems like.
Perfect starts for both squads, and Boom won't let up the pressure. Blizzard Lalo, a favorite strat in the mid game here, but Tryhard's going to be going back down to the ground with Super Witches, a strat first seen on the main stage in the Clash of Clans World Championship last year, gaining momentum now. It only takes 4 of them to go the distance, but the big problem that they often run into is time toward the end. An even bigger factor when you've got those builder huts to take care of and a big base to path around. This does seem to be kind of an ideal situation for Super Witches, though, Itsu. Not having to deal with quite as many walls and having to jump spell just to get into the core when he needs to and then hop back out. I think he's got great base identification.
Yeah, and I think actually this is a base which they're rerunning. I think they used this already versus Vatang, and the base got 3-star, I believe, from Vatang, or at least the base was really similar. So let's see if he can make this work. The Super Witches are now in as well. This is turning into a Queen or Super Witch. That's something which you're not seeing too often. So far, he's doing an amazing job of triggering those traps with his coconut loons. And this Queen now is using her ability because the healers are following that Warden. And this is not good at all for him. And now the triple clan casters coming out and delaying this Queen even further. So let's see if he can somehow get this back. But this Queen is going to be, frozen up for quite some time, Woody.
Siege Barracks down, another somewhat unfamiliar sight for this year. We saw a lot of it last year, but have kind of waited until this really open base design has come in to see more of it. Interestingly enough, he managed to get a bit of a split with his troops, a few of them going along the outside edge, and a few of them hopping straight into the core, where the fire is really starting to heat up now. You get Inferno locking onto the main component of this army, losing a lot of hit points on those heroes, but he's been able to keep them up after all. The healer's doing a perfect job just of barely keeping them alive. That last multi-target Inferno, a big opponent still standing in the top compartment there. Archer Queen going down, Warden going down, but the Super Witches can potentially go the distance. Those big boys out in front can soak a massive amount of damage, but with walls up like that, it's kind of probably going to be up to the Wizards to get those shots over and finish off the scatter shot. Oh, and the Royal Champion too.
Yeah, but the Royal Champion is just going down, and now something which is always the problem with Super Witches, the time. They're pretty slow, like they're super consistent in dishing out the damage, but just having them being so slow is a huge problem. We have only 37 seconds left in this attack. The P.E.K.K.A is doing an amazing job of taking those buildings down, but at this point everything has been taken down except those 3 Super Witches inside the base, and they can now not reach everything anymore. The first Super Witch has been taken down. There's only 1 Super Witch left, and the Warden is hitting just so much damage. And this might be the first defense for Alternate in this match, and this is already a huge thing. Tryhard is shaking his head and saying like, those ring bases, man, Alternate are just the kings of building those, and it's just so annoying to face. And those Super Witch attack, like this Super Witch attack, only up on an 89%. That's not the highest percent either, Woody.
Holding on with all their might, but you are right, Itsu. A 2-star not even able to push into the 90th percentage is going to be a big shot in the arm for Alternate.attax. Already ahead and seeming like they will gain even more momentum now with this defensive victory. Tryhard from MCES falling short with that 2-star 89%. And I don't know what else he really could have done except just completely rewrite the script and scrap the Super Witches. Would a second jump spell have helped him there, Itsu?
I'm not sure. I feel like maybe the first jump spell, not using that into the core, like just into the inner ring, basically, to make sure that the poison is not ticking down on his queen. But now we are in the next attack, and that's now Linnae. That's the player for Alternate who has struggled so much over this qualifier. So let's see if he can deliver and make sure that he's helping his team to get this first golden ticket for them in this in this year's Clash of Clans World Championship, taking down some buildings, and the queen now is supposed to walk into this channel. But now the queen is like 50-50. Is she going to the cannon or is she going to the outer tower? Where is she going? And she is going into the channel as planned. He was nicely waiting with those healers to deploy them, depending on where the queen is going. Now she can actually reach that multi-inferno tower, and then he's going to wallbreak her into the town hall. This, of course, looking like a really good start for Lineade. And let's see what exactly he's going to do with his king and royal champion, which are not even deployed yet, Woody.
Lineade's Archer Queen loses her lassie, but just like John Wick, won't let that dog go down without some revenge. Takes out the enemy Archer Queen and moves on to the CC now, ready to pop this Hound and an Ice Golem. Things are going to get slowed down a little bit, as sticky as it may be, but she has got legs to go the distance, dancing straight through every single pack so far, and really setting up a beautiful entry point for Lineade's army. That town hall in the bottom corner is going to be no problem for her at all. We're just looking at what point will these Lava Hounds coming in at. I'm guessing maybe around the 1 o'clock position for a swoop from the top right down to the bottom left. I'm trying to find out what else might be presenting a threat here. There's a really well-insulated scatter shot right there in the core of the base, protected by a builder hut and a couple of Teslas. Anything else standing out to you, Itsu?
The time is getting slowly closer and closer to the 0 seconds. I feel like 1 minute and 15 seconds. He should slowly start with that Lalo. And he has already the king now inside the multi-inferno tower compartment. There we go. Royal Champion onto that exposed scatter. Slammer is pushing the Royal Champion side, and the Lalo is starting into that Eagle, which is the super important thing. First Blackman hitting that Slammer, and now there's the entirety of that Tesla from the Royal Champion has to engage the enemy king. That is not a great thing to have. A ton of red mines, a ton of traps were coming up, and this Royal Champion is having a rough time, but those headhunters are keeping the Royal Champion alive, and the dream is still alive for Lineade. He's pushing through. The rage is making sure all of those runes are one-shotting the scatter. Another freeze onto that scatter shot. The Royal Champion is alive as well. 30 seconds left. Yes, another invisibility spell left if needed. And that single inferno tower, which was so exposed at the top side, is the last defense going down. And Woody, this is going to be a 3-star, and Lineade is pushing it through with another 3 stars, another 100%.
Lineade is a man of focus, commitment, sheer will. Even holding on to an invisibility spell there that he could have swagged, but he'll save that one for next time because you're not even worth the effort. Lineade with another triple, keeping alternate attacks cleared for landing, ready for that perfect war. If they can just get one more, that'll guarantee the golden ticket.
Yeah, that would be a huge thing for them. And we can see Lineade only with a 14% hit rate over the pre-qualifiers, but he has done amazingly. And that's the surprising thing about Alternate. They're showing up whenever they need to. That's just incredible. And Lineade is doing exactly that for his team. And now it's back to MCES. They need the next 3-star, otherwise they're going to have huge problems. And yet again, another rerun for Alternate. They're just saying, hey, our bases are that good. In our bases, we can adapt the traps that any team is going to fail. And now we have yet again another Super Witch attack. And that's kind of interesting for MCES. They're saying, hey, we found the counter to your ring bases, and this is the Super Witches. To be honest, so far, it hasn't worked out that great with those Super Witches, Woody.
Yeah, I mean, if they think they found the counter, they're gonna need to look a little bit harder, if you ask me. Pulling off a 2-star 89% and then doubling down on this strat is a really aggressive play from Kingsmen, moving in with this witchy woman strat. Not just the super witches, but 2 regular witches as well, adding on. He's gonna go a long way with this Warden Walk, but Warden Walk, a really slow stage 1 strike leading into super witches, a really slow stage 2 hit against a really spread out base. This just spells time fail to me.
Yeah, this, I mean, Super Witches are super slow, so we have to see if it's at the end will work or if time is going to be an issue. But there's the Ice Golem Clancaster coming out, which is just so annoying to deal with because it is soaking up a ton of time. The Tesla form is messing up the pathing at the moment, but the King with this ability is actually providing great pathing and pushing everything back inside. The nade already is getting triggered as well. And now there are Valkyries inside this clan castle, making sure that any skeleton around that tunnel is been taken down. And there we go with the push into the core. Warden ability now is getting used as well, just to make sure this poison is not taking, like, dealing too much damage to those troops. And the Royal Champion Woody is getting placed as well.
Builders running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to repair something, anything, but maximum firepower. And this enraged up with all the super witches that he can muster. Kingsman has done it in the center, finding his way toward every single defense and knocking them all down. Eagle artillery, not a big concern for an army that has such big, beefy units on the back end. Still, time is an issue, though, with less than a minute remaining. He still has 23% of the base left to finish off. A King Leoric, the Skeleton Lord, charging into battle now to try to slow things down even further. But abilities being used left and right. Still a Headhunter left to deploy. Kingsman has got plenty of damage left to apply on here. And I think that the chances of a 3-star are getting better and better, even as time ticks away, Itsu.
Yes, 30 seconds left. The top left, top right witch is still beating on that wall, but one witch was smart enough to run around and help now the rest of this army. The big boys are triggering some spring trap, but that is not important. But the time is ticking non-stop.
What's happening?
And this is a huge problem now, yet again, for Kingsman. I feel like this is another time fail. It is super witches. It is, well, it is time failing non-stop. And I don't think that this is going to be enough. And this means this is another defense for alternate. This is just incredible. The power would have been enough. The last defense was going down, but time was not on his side. And we can see it yet again. The push to the core was beautiful. But now take a look at everything running into their poison. The healers are getting soaked into their poison. And now just take a look at how quick those healers are going to die. It is incredible how powerful this poison is. Like, they're losing HP like non-stop. And this was the end of the story for Kingsman. And this means the second defense, alternate. 1 or 2 more 3-stars, and they have done it. They have won the first golden ticket for the Clash World Championship 2021. And now we're going to see the next attack. And let's see who is actually going to be the next attacker for alternate. And, well,
It'll be coming in soon. Look, Kingsman had a beautiful setup. That's about as good as it gets for Super Witches. But you can't call it a jinx when in the first 20 seconds of the attack, I called it a time fail. So, look, that's just how the cookie crumbles in the end. It was a beautiful setup, but just ran out of time to get the finishing blow done. But let's move on now, because we've got Yo-Yo23 ready to show us what he's got, trying to keep this perfect war on path to victory, blowing up like a rock star in the bottom right there, going as loud and proud as he can. Big hits along the outer edge, but what is he really accomplishing with this? Still that multi-target Inferno firing away, but not going to get a whole lot of value against a Royal Champion with a sole single purpose to crack through that compartment. Big hits from the heroes, but I'm really looking forward to what comes next from the La Lune. It's just a Sui strike early on here, Itsu.
Yeah, but that was baited so perfectly. Yo-Yo was running into this bait, and the Tesla farm was popping up. No chance to take this down, so he invested already a ton of resources into taking that down. And so far, it did not work out. Well, this means that Yo-Yo is having a rough time to take all of this down. He's trying to sort into that scatter. He's trying to target. He's trying to find the spot where he's targeting that scatter to get the slammer onto that scatter shot. But so far, it is just not working out for him, Woody.
Another slow follow-up here, just crossing his fingers. This is really showing the importance to me of why you need a plan A, B, C, and D. Just every single little thing that could potentially go wrong, you want to have an idea of how you're going to adapt. That is the sort of skill that gets you to the top and keeps you there. Yo-Yo23 sending in that Stone Slammer, I think trying to target onto that Air Sweeper, but it's pushing them back and really going to cause a bit of a problem here. Getting another free spell out to shut down that scatter shot just so that he can ensure that the balloons get right on target. They do get the drop and will continue their path onward. Balloons on top get that Eternal Tome as well. The Grand Ward doing his best to protect, but this is a really deeply spread out base, and he needs to get those balloons to finish off that topside air defense. It does go down. Does he have enough time for the cleanup crew?
Yeah, it's 50 more seconds. The core scatter is going down, even though everything went around that scatter. The dragon is finishing things off. The headhunter is clearing out the last important hero. Maybe Yo-Yo has done it with the last haste. Still not even deployed just yet, but now the warden actually going down. That might be some huge problems. All of the HP missing on those loons is incredible. Now all of those pups, all of those minis are grouping up and trying to go for the last push. Is the air defense going down? The air defense is going down.
It does!
Only one archer tower left, and this is looking like a crushed base. If time is enough for Yo-Yo, and this means Atn would still go for the perfect. And at this point, as long as they're not slipping up with a 1-star, it is already the win, Woody.
The destruction of that air defense at the end made all the difference. Just a few balloons separating Yo-Yo 23 from victory and a 2-star shutdown. Nonetheless, it's all celebration and high fives for the alternate attack squad, launching in another massive artillery strike against the MCES crew, pulverizing a 4th base. Itsu, this squad is now 9 for 9 on triples in a Clash of Clans World Championship. Has there ever been such a dominant showing?
It is just incredible how consistent, how OP they are. And we can see yet again the post stats. It was actually super close with 2 minutes and 59 seconds. But hey, at the end of the day, Yo-Yo is getting it done with his incredible Suilado skills, even though he was running into a bait overall. But he cannot be stopped. And now we have Remio yet again trying to attack on this base, which already defended so nicely against Space Station. I feel like Atn at this point, they're slowly running out of bases, so saying, well, our bases so far have defended amazingly. And this is exactly the approach they're choosing. And well, so far it has paid off. Another ward walk, and this time around it is a creative attack with some bats for the back end. That's like Remio's special ability, I would say. Using those bats, he's just the master of the bat spell. And now let's see if this one walk is getting enough value, Woody.
The only path to victory here for MCES that would just keep them alive and force a bracket reset is a back-to-back triple and a defensive win that keeps alternate attacks' overall percentage lower than MCES's. Not a likely story when MCES is having to work so hard just to stay in the fight. But we'll give Remio his due, a brilliant attacker who is going straight into the core of the space with a perfectly placed jump spell to get against a multitude of high-value targets. Fire in from the Infernos, though, is starting to heat up on a huge wave of forces. Every single spell at his disposal getting deployed now, just holding on to those bats for the back end. But he's done it. He's got the Town Hall down, and the 50% is the 2nd star as well. But multi-target Infernos have just been on this entire time, Itsu.
Yeah, but the Pekka Smash just slowly died out in the core. Now he has to take down multi-Inferno Tower twice to make sure those bats have any chance. And so far, it's not looking like it. He's freezing up the double expo, and this means he's actually taking it down. Now the bats onto the scatter. There is no chance for the scatter to defend itself when those bats are on top of him or it. And now we have the Wizard Tower on the back end. That's the only thing which has a chance to stop this attack. 2 freezes.
No, the Royal Champion got it.
The top Wizard Tower, there's one Wizard Tower left. Freezing it up. And now it's all about those bats flying in and taking the base down, Woody.
Great timing on those freezes so far. A few bats will pass directly toward the Wizard Tower, but can they get the rest of them on there? You gotta get them right now! No time to waste, Remio! Bats are down, and with it, all hopes of the 3-star MCES are all but finished against an alternate attack squad that has not shown a single sign of weakness yet today. Nor should we expect them to all year. The Grand Finals champions from last year, having picked up their qualification in month number 1, seem poised to do so yet again. 2021 continues the reign of supremacy. Pax Americana, it's Pax Attaxicana now. This squad is indomitable. Their defenses, their offenses, all in tip-top shape, and Remio is sent home packing.
Yeah, we were questioning if Alternate still has it, if Alternate is still our world champion, if they can just repeat the story of the last year. And so far, it just looks like Alternate is not even close to the other teams. It's looking like there's a huge gap in between of the second best team and the best team right now. And we can see this in the offense and defense. The Alternate attackers are incredible. But yet again, we have to give a huge shout out to the base building crew of Alternate as well. We have Yo-Yo, who's building a lot of those anti-2-star bases on its own, but as well his base building team as well behind him with Bob the Builder. We have Hogzilla as well in there, for example. So this team is just incredibly skilled, and so Iron obviously as well. And this is showcasing So4 perfectly in this tournament. Now it's us. He is still perfect over the entirety of the pre-qualifier and the qualifier. Can he go perfect and might be our MVP for this first qualifier of the Clash Worlds 2021 Championship? This is going to be exciting, Woody.
Atn.attax are just playing on an entirely different dimension right now. They are squashing every team that comes up against them like a bug, and it seems more like their focus is on the legacy, on the big picture, on the year-to-year competition. Will Atn.attax be known as the greatest team of all time? That is a title that they seek, and they will not be denied. If it's one more perfect war today, that will be not just the story of today, but the story of the entire year. An opportunity now to get a golden ticket in such fantastic fashion will set the stage for everything that happens henceforth. The next 5 finals, all we'll be asking ourselves is, this team is great, but can they stack up to what Atn.attax did in the very first season this year? I don't know. Itsu, what are we watching?
We are watching yet again an incredible hero dive, and the Royal Champion should take down this Eagle, no problem. Now it's all about taking down this Town Hall. He's sending in the Lado. He has still the Slammer yet to deploy, and the Lado So4 is cruising in behind the back of that Sweeper. The Town Hall is activated, but there is the Hound, the Ice Hound flying, and now the Blimp is getting sent in to distract this Sweeper. The freeze is nice, and the Loons are slowly dying out, so the vulnerability should be used maybe soon. And so far, he's kind of struggling around the Town Hall. Is this going to be a problem for him? The multi-inferno tower is still alive on the back end as well. He's raging it up. Vulnerability now as well. But all of the Loons died around that town. He was not catching them with that Warden. The late rage is still fine because he has the Slammer with the last haste. As soon as the Slammer is opening, is this going to be enough? 2 Wizard Towers, 1 Wizard Tower left. And the multi-inferno tower? Oh no, the Owl is trying his best. Is this going to be enough, Woody?
Go! I don't know, Itsu, it's getting awfully close. The multi-target Inferno, the last line of defense for this base. Radio trying to deny Atn.attax the perfect war, and I think he might have just barely done it. A single target. One last big shot. The Inferno Dragon heated up, hastes towards the tower, fires its beam. It's down. It's down. Another perfect war from Atn.attax, the greatest of all time in my eyes. Wow, Itsu, the golden ticket is handed out, and boy, did they deserve it.
Yeah, that was just incredible. And the one thing I want to mention is I feel like we both did not make our predictions. Alternate was just too good. I mean, you were closer, to be honest, with your prediction of it being, at the end of the day, a 14-12. It seems like I have not too much faith in Alternate as you had. I only predicted 13-12, but they did even better. 15 stars back-to-back in the semifinals and finals of this qualifier. This is just insane. And now we have Cinti. Can you bring up yet again an insane, crazy attack? And this is going to be, well, Skelly Donut. Yep, it is Skelly Donut for Cinti with a combination of a nice Lalo attack.
The only mistake I made today, besides that one jinx I did earlier, was assuming that Atn.attax would ever miss a beat. Calling out a 14-star war, they say, Challenge accepted. Time to get another perfect on the board against what has to be said, MCES, among the best base builders in the world, not just for this year, but in past years as well. They are really incredible thinkers, but they are going to be sent back to the drawing board on this one. A silver ticket will give them an opportunity later this year to fight again, just in case they don't come back for another pre-qualifier. But I have every expectation that they will. The French fighters have really given us a great showing today, and let's see if Sinti can keep pace and find that 12th star for his squad.
Yeah, that's everything what he needs, taking down that clan castle. And now it's all about for him, well, pushing with his heroes inside. That's exactly what he's doing. The Royal Champion is collecting some nice partner. The Queen is backtracking, and she should take down the Multi-Inferno Tower. No problem whatsoever. And well, Woody, this so far is looking pretty promising.
Stage 1 of the attack rounding out. A distracted Archer Queen having to pop down a few skeletons before she can make it back toward the core. Big investment of free spells by Cynthia here just to make sure that the job gets done. No healers to back up that Archer Queen, so you have to be quick with those spell placements to get them off. The main phase of the attack underway now. The Ice Hound's coming in to protect those balloons, but man, they are really getting heated up over there on the top right side. That's going to require an Eternal Tone, but timing is perfect for that blimp as well. Soaking a seeking air mine as it makes its way all the way to the Town Hall to crack through for the 2nd star. Cynthia has got a great strat here, and this might be one of the only other alternate attack space that gets demolished into.
Yeah, this base is trying to defend, especially now with the NATO and the traps. The back-end haste is trying to save the attack. The Warden somehow ended up with the sneaky goblins on the top right. I feel like sneaky goblins are apparently more important than loons. I don't know what exactly is going on.
Top 10 anime betrayals of 2021. The Grand Warden pathing toward the sneaky goblins.
Yeah. It seems kind of unfortunate, but hey, maybe the Warden and the Owl can actually finish off this base with the last remaining pups, because, well, he betrayed the goons, and now they're flying across. They should take down this last Archer Tower, and this means they at least finish on 12 stars. I feel like that's something which we both got right for MCS. So, at the end, 2 3-stars for them out of their 5 attacks against the insane bases of Alternate. And well, congrats on this golden ticket, Woody, right?